Welcome to the Soulish Podcast. My name is Whitney Apke and I'm your host. On the Soulish Podcast, we talk about the soul journey and the ish of the soul. And for the last 4 years, I can't believe it, I have had the honor and privilege of sharing my soul journey and evolution with you, as well as bringing on guests who share their inspiring and encouraging soul journeys. Also that we have this amazing collection of people that we can glean from, be inspired by, be encouraged by, be uplifted, and also thought-provoking and kind of be open to maybe a different kind of conversation. So it has been an amazing 4 years. I can't believe it. And in this episode, I'm coming back to you after having 4 months off. And this episode is really going to be an interesting one because I'm going to share with you about the cave season, or the season of the cave. I unknowingly signed up for a cave season, and it really hit me out of left field. And I think it's really interesting because a lot of things came up in the cave season, in that place of darkness, and darkness not necessarily meaning evil or bad or negative, but I literally felt myself, and I said it to a group of women who are medicine women that I meet with once a month. I literally told them in December, I feel like I'm entering in a cave season. I can't describe it as anything other than that. I just feel like I'm literally being pulled into a cave, and I'm trying to face out, and I'm trying to show up, and I'm trying to be present, and I just feel myself being pulled back. And just the cloaking of darkness, the curtains are being drawn, and I'm like, wait, but there's life, and there's people, and there's a podcast, and there's all these things. And so it's been really interesting because I've really had to let go of a lot of things of what makes me up, and what am I truly passionate about, and what is my purpose, and if I close out, will I lose everything I've built? Will I lose every friend I've tried to gain? All of those things, right? It's been so interesting, the conversation with my ego. And through this season, you would think in a cave season, you'd just be munching on mushrooms, but doing lots of ayahuasca or vision quests or anything like that. But no, it was the most mundane, ordinary, day to day, just doing work, and then just chilling and reading some fictional fantasy fiction novel. And it's been total opposite. I would love to sit here and tell you that I meditated for the last 4 months, that I sat on a rock and meditated and started to levitate. That would be great. I actually would have preferred that. But this was like a deconditioning and a taking off of all expectations. And so I'd like to share a little bit about this because I do feel like several people that I've come out and said, I've been in a cave season, because they're like, where have you been? What have you been doing? I'm like, I've been in a cave season. That's the best way to describe it. And they're like, oh my God, me too. Or that was me just a few months ago. So it's been really interesting, and it's been interesting to have conversations with people and their ideas and projections and perceptions of that season, of what was truly happening on the inside. And I know for me, at the beginning of the year, I was dating someone very briefly. And I realized that again, it was the same thing was coming up against me in my life, or I was hitting my head up against the same wall, or maybe the same room, different wall, I was realizing I don't think I've left this place. I keep thinking that I've shifted and transmuted, and that, I've truly left this space. I'm no longer living here. And it was no, you are. So it was kind of one of those slap you in the face moments, come on, wake up, woman, you're still here. You've evolved and you've grown, but you have not left this core belief that you need this in order to blah, blah, blah. Anybody else feel that way? I'm raising my hand here. Yeah. I realized that in another form, in a really deeply conditioned form of this is true happiness, and it lies in this and this alone, or you have everything but this in your life. And this is the one thing that will truly make you happy, and you don't have it, therefore you're not happy, you're truly not fulfilled, you're not living your purpose, you're not fully expressed or embodied because you don't have this thing. So when a really shiny thing came along that basically was looking like everything I wanted, everything I need. It was like, oh, like swept up, just swept right up in it, just went right down that river without a paddle. And I mean, thank God it was a very quick wake up call. And I, oh man, it was painful. And it wasn't painful because I lost the thing that I wanted. It was painful because I realized how much I was outsourcing my idea of happiness and the potential happiness of a potential future that I think I want and need. So that really like springboarded me into this season of going, okay, gonna let go of everything I'm like searching for, everything I'm working towards, because clearly I don't have it right. Clearly what I think I need is not what I need. And just realizing like again, it's I love life. I love the opportunities that life brings us. Yeah. So grateful for this expression again, that something outside of me could fulfill me, could make me whole, could make me happy. I think the cave season is really a springboard of understanding that everything outside of yourself is not necessary. Just be present, just be here, just be in silence. You don't need to think why, how, when, what. Shh. It was like, I just felt like spirit, divine spirit was like, shh. And I'm like, oh, I got it. That was hard. That was hard to be like, I don't know when I'm going to feel the release. I don't know when I'm going to feel like I get it. And I don't know all of what's going to come up through this and what purpose it serves beyond me, and that's okay. And that was really hard, y'all. For somebody that I've been conditioned as a pastor's kid to be like on call and to be ready to serve humanity and anyone that comes into my pathway. It's interesting because for everyone in the cave season or the season of the cave, different things are going to be shown to you. And it's really funny how bright and illuminating darkness can be. And it's not even that I did like, a blackout vision quest thing, but just being pulled back from things that I was used to doing, and I was in the flow, right? In the routine of doing, just even pulling back from that, pulling back from dating, pulling back from really hanging out with people, pulling back from sharing on the Soulish podcast, pulling back a lot of things and just kind of being down to bare bones and in silence. And I don't think the season of the cave even needs to be long and or short. I think it's whatever you need in order to go through your process. But I do feel also that it's not only a time to illuminate the things that are not serving you, or those little nuancy things that are like little conditionings or little things that have just been programmed in you for so long, that it's like, even though you're doing good, or even though you're doing something or fulfilling your purpose or mission or doing like in alignment, right, with what you're doing or who you are or where you're at, but it's going down even deeper of like in the silence when there's nothing else, and when no one's there to witness you, no one can even see, including yourself, what lays before you, what's gonna just kind of float to the surface, what's gonna be seen, what's gonna be felt. I didn't actually necessarily feel lonely. I didn't feel alone in this season. I think coming out of it, I've actually experienced more aloneness and more loneliness than I even did when I was feeling tucked away. Just kind of realizing like, oh, how quiet it is around here and how disconnected I feel suddenly. And I find myself now having to really watch why I'm reaching out to somebody and blah, blah, blah. Is it coming from a place of I feel led to, which, this can get really fundamental and religious of like, I did it because the Lord told me so. Sometimes you can just live your life, but I think there is something about being led by your gut and your intuition, by your connectedness, really. I mean, it's not a holy thing, it's a just connected thing, like why we exist. And I know, like, I love the example of redwoods because they are so connected with each other that they'll even feed each other. And they just kind of feel like what tree needs more, sustenance, water, whatever it is. And the trees that have plenty will feed that tree that does not. And I think that's how I want to operate. I want to be guided in that way where I am a part of a system, and therefore when I reach out because I need, which is totally fine and healthy, and I reach out because I feel that someone else needs, right? And it's not to fulfill the ego. It's simply because I live a connected life within myself, I can be connected with others and feel and be led by that instead of being led by, oh gosh, it's been months since I've seen this person and I feel like a bad friend, so I'm gonna reach out. Instead, going like, I really feel this person and I miss this person, and I would love to connect with this person to see how they're doing because it's been a while. And so I'm gonna reach out and connect, right? It's just coming from a different place. And I have so many things y'all could probably relate. I have people pleasing to the max. So I feel bad that I've taken time to myself. God. And I'm learning that, like, in my 30s, I'm really learning that, like, that does not serve. Like, feeling bad for doing me is like, oh, that needs to go. That needs to go, go, go. So that was another one for me personally that I got. It's been really interesting in this cave season to realize, like, what makes me up and what is needed, what is required of me. If I feel like I need to do more studying or have more experiences, sit under other healers, other intuitives, is that needed? And other shamans, is that needed? And I just really kind of felt guided to a couple different things and places, which I'm going to personally pursue. But it came from such a different place of like, ooh, I lack and I don't have enough. And like, ooh, I'm so not like enough for this. Like, should I just like peace out? Um, and then it kind of went full circle where I did. And really, there was a time in the cave season where I was like, yeah, I'm peacing out. We're gonna just like walk away from this and try again in another life. I was like, yeah, we're not there. And and then I kind of came full circle and it was like, oh, I got it. This is my journey. This is what this looks like. It doesn't look like anyone else's because no one else's journey has looked like anyone else's. We're all unique. And so it just made me realize, like, yeah, I'm comparing too much and I feel not valid. And I need to like let that go because that is not what I need. And so it's really interesting in the cave season how we can have things come up. Whatever comes up for you could be that comparison. It could be the not enoughness. It could be simply you are unable to let go of this experience that happened when you were a kid, teenager, or early adulthood, or recent. It could be something that you have taken on as an identity. And that's really what the cave season is about, is deconditioning, unidentifying, and literally in this cocoon, like metamorphosizing, which I don't know if that's a word, but I'm gonna make it a word. In your little cocoon, in that darkness, seeing yourself in a way where you're completely just stripped down and there's no expectations. No one can see you. You can't even really see yourself, but you can feel yourself. It's like the cave season takes away your sight, takes away the distractions, and it literally causes you to go, ooh, what do I feel? Where do I hurt? Where do I feel room and space? And where do I feel constricted? Where do I feel expansive and embodied and integrated? And where do I feel like I don't know myself? And the cave season can be that for you in whatever way it looks like for you. It can be similar to my journey, it can be different to my experience of the cave season. But this season of quietness and solitude and darkness is so rich. And I really felt so grateful that I had a springboard event that caused me to go within, that then I just sucked all the way back in and realized I really, really, really needed that. And I just want to invite you, if you feel and have felt like for a while that you needed to pull back, maybe it's not in all areas of life, but there's some areas in your life that you need to pull back from and just kind of reconfigure. Maybe go into more of an observant witnesser role and not outputting as much. There may be one area and maybe every area of your life, but I just want to encourage you, the season of the cave can look different for everyone. It'll look different for you. And in the different times of your life that you'll be, called and requested to kind of go within and to maybe in one area or all areas of your life pull up and pull away, and go within, it'll be so nourishing. It'll be exactly what you need. What will come up is basically will feel like a plant ceremony, even without the plant medicine. It'll feel very much connected, and because you're letting go of things, and because you're going into a place where at least one of your senses is kind of turned off, if not multiple, it allows you the time and space to really sit and to really feel. And the non judgment that is required is sometimes massive. I had to really not judge the things that were coming up. I had to really look at it and love it and accept it and let it go. And also just know, like, there's no hiding this. This is coming up in darkness because I feel safe for it to come up. But like, these are things, even some of the things I've shared with you, I could cringe that I'm sharing it on a podcast. But bringing things to the light is yet another way of expression. And it is my commitment on this podcast to share honestly and openly. And not a lot of people will show the shit, the ish of the soul. And I'm just totally up for it. To a certain extent, obviously, there's some things that need to be kept, close vested. But there's a lot of things that, even though it make me cringe on the inside to mention and to have recorded forever on the internet, um, it's worth the example, because then you can be invited into the season, whatever that looks like for you. And you're invited into a place of safety and honesty and integrity within yourself, knowing that even if you share it with your confidant, with your spouse, with your partner, with a dear confidant friend, wherever you feel safe to share what comes up in this season, that you can do it and not be judged by it. Like, don't judge yourself, release that judgment, release that criticism, and also share it without the fear of being criticized and judged for it. And so I just want to encourage you in that too, of not everything needs to be shared. So there's a lot of things that are just little golden nuggets meant for you. But there are things that we can share with each other that also then kind of almost initiate the process for someone else, or show somebody that, gosh, I've been feeling that for months or years, and I've never allowed myself to tune out in this way or that way. I've never actually given myself space and time to sit and feel what's coming up. How do I feel? Recalibrate, sit with self, right? Alone in darkness in a cave, and just see what comes up. What do I feel? And maybe you feel nothing at first. Maybe it's just total numbness. Maybe nothing is seen or shown, and you're like kind of twiddling your thumbs going like, what's the point? Like, I don't even feel anything. Well, that sometimes is exactly what you need to experience is, yo, you numb. You numb. Like, there's a reason why you're numb and why it's really, really hard to feel right now. So I hope that this episode has been encouraging for you. Thank you for welcoming me back from my cave season after 4 months. I cannot believe that it's been 4 years on this podcast. We're celebrating it this month. This month is exactly 4 years that the Soulish podcast was born. And I can't believe that it's been 4 years of sharing my journey with you. And wow, what a privilege and an honor. Thank you so much for being with me along this journey whenever you came here. Thank you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It'll help me grow the podcast and for more people to get exposed and be encouraged and inspired. And so thank you so much for, again, your time and your energy and your space.